What is up, my fellow Harley riders? This is the Perpetuating Party of Patriots back at it again with another commentary. Now, I think it has been a minute since I've done one, so yeah, here we are with another one. Although this one is going to be a bit of a special one. Now, my first ever commentary was covering Nathaniel Bandy's How Sonic Adventure 2 Triggers You video, and it turns 2 years old this month. So once it hits October 21st, that will be the, I guess, turning point where I have been doing commentaries for 2 years. But yeah, let me just say, it was my first ever commentary, and I mean that in the bad way, because yeah, it's a really heavily flawed video, and I made of. There were a couple good points I did admittedly bring up, but it's, let me just say, a chalker block or whatever the fuck you want to say, full of really weird points and really just points that don't really have much back into them. But yeah, today we won't just be talking about redoing my commentary on that video. We'll also be covering the video he made on the first Sonic Adventure game. Now, before I do continue, I would like to state a couple things. I do kind of like Nathaniel Bandy's content. Admittedly, it has kind of shrunken on me in the sense that I don't really watch him much anymore. But I'm not gonna lie, he does have some videos that I do enjoy. But oh boy, some of his videos can be really hard to sit through, in my opinion. Now, I guess the issue that I personally have with his triggered you videos, or how insert game or something here triggers you videos, is in certain ones, not in all of them, but in certain ones, it's pretty hard, at least in my opinion, to tell when he's either joking or when he's being serious, because and a lot of times he actually brings up legitimate points, but other times, now, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying that, it should maybe be completely obvious that he's joking or stuff like that, because admittedly, I do really like cleverly hidden jokes, and I do like jokes that do sometimes fly over my head in instances, but again, at the same time, I don't think you should make it to where it's insanely hard to tell when you're joking or when you're not. What I'm just saying is, there are times where he could be joking, but I can't tell. Not because it's really a clever joke, but because his tone is, I guess, unflinching to the point where it's really hard to tell. But, enough rambling. But first, I'll cover the Adventure 2 video next, but, first we're gonna tackle his first Sonic Adventure How Triggers You video. Anyway, enough rambling. This intro's already long enough as is. Let's continue. Let's transition into the first video.
It's a Sonic game.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
The graphics haven't aged well.
Oh wow, a game from 1999 has graphics that haven't aged well. Boy, am I shocked.
This game takes itself way too seriously.
Yeah. Why is that exactly an issue? Yeah, the story in both Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are very, serious, but I guess the way I see it is, it really depends on if it's a good story or not if it takes itself too seriously or too lightly. That's something I admittedly have actually kind of noticed with Nathaniel. At least when it comes to the adventure games, it seems like he has this tone that Sonic games should always be light-hearted and go lucky and stuff like that, and they shouldn't be really serious and dark. That's at least what I'm saying. If he does think they should be lighthearted, then that is his opinion, and I respect it. But I'm just saying, I only really care if it's a good story, not if it takes itself too seriously or not. I guess as a mini thing to tack onto this, why is it taking itself too seriously automatically a bad thing?
What the hell just happened?
Okay, now, this could be just me, and if anybody else feels this way, feel free to, I guess, state it, but why does it kind of feel like he's blaming his own mistakes on the faults of the game? I don't know about you, but whenever I have personally went through that loop, I've never had moments where I just go through the loop and end up falling in the water because of the game. But, yeah, all I'd really say to get past that, pretty avoidable issue is to pretty much just hold forward. Yeah, later in the video you should probably see that I do have a bit of an issue with that mentality, but you should mostly avoid it just by, I guess, trying to keep yourself steady in the game. But anyway, let's move on.
So the DX version updated the textures, but none of the animations or, well, really anything else.
Yeah, when it comes to, like, the graphics and textures and animations and stuff, it didn't really change much, but it did, like, I guess, change the the way the characters look as in the models and stuff, and it also did add a lot more content, you know, like that challenge mode, Metal Sonic as a playable character, and other stuff, but, yeah, it also took out an issue that was, I guess, in the thing you brought up about the sub-menu stuff where the music starts over again. But, yeah, I think I remember, I think it was in the original adventure where the music just would not stop playing whenever you entered a new hub world or area of the hub world. But now I think they either have it cut out or it just keeps playing to the point where it doesn't really sound annoying or awkward, but yeah, I guess let's just move on.
You know, whenever I think Sonic, I always imagine myself going on a treasure hunt.
You know, when I see gameplay styles that aren't, I guess, in tune with the original format of the game, I look to see if they're actually good or not, rather than if they fit the status quo. I don't know about you, but I usually tend to look at the quality of the other gameplay styles, rather than just judging them on, oh, it's not Sonic. But, yeah, I guess a lot of the Sonic reviewing community would disagree with me on that.
It's so unclear where you need to go sometimes. Thank God for those random red orbs.
Okay, admittedly, I do partially agree with that. It is one thing that actually does, is something that I agree with. Yeah, there are points where I do get pretty lost as well, but, usually whenever I don't know where to go, I usually just travel all around the area, and when stuff starts happening, I then find out where I need to go. And also those red orbs do help, so yeah, I don't particularly disagree with them on that, but I just thought I would give my 2 cents on the whole thing.
Who is gonna think of looking in between some buildings for this ice key?
I don't know, I guess people who think outside the box.
Oh dear lord.
Well, hey, that's kind of how I'm like when I had to watch this video, but, yeah, that was the first half of the video, touching on as a Sonic Adventure 1, how it triggers you. I don't know why I'm saying it in reversed order, but, yeah, notice how there was a lot of stuff that I pretty much just had nothing to say about. Mainly because, probably about 95% of the video was just, making memes out of the game's cutscenes, which, okay, I don't really think they're that great either, but, yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot to talk about. I mainly just found the video kind of boring, honestly, but, yeah, I guess I just might as well give a short opinion on what I just think of the Sonic Adventure 1 game as a whole. I do like it, it can be pretty fun, but, I don't know, I guess on the 3D Sonic game scale, I personally think there are some other 3D Sonic games that I do find better, and particularly Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah, I know I've said that before, but also with Sonic Heroes, I might even say Shadow the Hedgehog's a bit better. Fuck, I'll even go as far as to say that I think Generations is better, but, yeah, that is probably just my opinion, which I guess I'd just like to ask for the people who have played it, what do you guys think of it? Anyway, that's the end of the first part. Now let's move on to a Sonic Adventure 2 video, which, yeah, I don't know if I'll have some new stuff to say about it or not, but, yeah, let's just transition.
Like Sonic Adventure 1, this game takes itself way too seriously.
I guess I'll play this, our earlier audio clip to basically describe how I feel about that part. Why is it taking itself too seriously automatically a bad thing?
Not Oma Chow?
Keep this specific part in mind, because it's gonna come back later.
Playing SA2 is habit forming. Don't turn off. Do you want to pay my electric bill, Sega?
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
The emerald pieces will only signal off one at a time, so you could be missing other emeralds, but you wouldn't know it.
Okay. This part in particular reminds me of one part in my original commentary on this where I said I'm not specifically thought about the part where I mentioned something about the emeralds signaling off, but I said something that was really rude to Nathaniel at this part where I was saying stuff like, "How stupid do you have to be to say that?" or some shit like that. But yeah, before I move on to the actual point, I would like to just directly say to Nathaniel, I am sorry for what I said at that part. Now on to the actual point. Now, I do think it could be a case of him maybe wording it wrong, but the yes, at the moment when you're searching for one specific emerald, you could be missing the other ones, but the thing is, the emerald shards do signal off, like you said, one at a time. But one thing that I do admittedly kind of like about the radar, now this is just probably just me, but it does, I guess, at the same time, and kind of encourage thinking outside the box, because if you didn't know, if you actually manage to get an emerald that's not located on the radar yet, you actually get bonus points. So, yeah, I do think that is a pretty nice way, I guess, of encouraging exploration, but I guess the part where I think he kind of worded it a bit wrong was, well, I don't actually know about that part, but he said that you could be missing other emeralds, but you wouldn't know it. Once you find the emerald that's located on the radar, the other ones will trigger off one at a time, or right after the other. But anyway, let's move on.
Knuckles and Rouge move way too fast for stages where you're supposed to take your time and explore.
Well, I'm guessing no one must run one in A ranking then, but I think the main reason why they actually do move pretty quickly is so you can get around the area faster, and in my opinion, I actually think it's makes it more fun that they move quickly, because the areas, in my opinion at least, are pretty fun to explore, and yeah, I don't think they're specifically built around where you have to take your time and explore. It really depends on how fast you make them. Also, like I said, if you do want to try to get that A ranking, then yeah, you probably have to use the speed to your advantage. But yeah, that was a pretty minor thing, but let's move on.
There is no strategy for the Tails and Eggman stages. You just walk forward and win.
Yeah, most of them are pretty easy, or at least fairly easy in my opinion, but admittedly, I actually care more about how they play, or if they're actually fun or not, than depending on the difficulty. Yes, difficulty can help make the stages more fun, or make them more enjoyable to play, but yeah, also, yet again, here's another point to keep in mind, because this will come back later, along with the other thing, but yay, let's move on to a really redundant argument.
Is that you, Sonic?
Is everyone in this game really this stupid?
I'm guessing we're all just going to ignore that literally directly after that Eggman notices that it's not Sonic.
Is that you, Sonic? Are you trying to spoil my plans again? Wait, you're not Sonic?
Also, I just wanted to say something about this particular argument that, how can they not tell that it's Sonic or not? Oh, Jesus, is this a fucking point that's been brought up to hell and high heavens, but, yeah, it's a really redundant argument, and, I used to agree with it, and looked at the game from a really logical standpoint, which is fucking retarded nowadays, in my opinion, but, yeah, I guess I'll just leave you with this Rubio Blue clip that pretty accurately debunks this argument.
This is a common point brought up, and people always ignore this little thing called context. Shadow stole the Chaos Emerald from the bank moving at blitzing speeds at night. All the police know is that a fast-moving hedgehog-like figure stole a Chaos Emerald. Why wouldn't they suspect Sonic? Now, the news did get a close-up on Shadow's face while still reporting him as Sonic, but 1, Fox News exists, so shitty sensationalist reporting working on outdated information isn't all that far-fetched. 2, they only got that close-up after Sonic had already been detained, after which he escaped and was chased through the city. And 3, Sonic has been seen transforming into different forms before with the Chaos Emeralds, so why wouldn't people assume this is just another one of his forms? Shadow's spines are even shaped exactly like Super Sonic's, for God's sake. You might also bring up that Gun should know Shadow escaped from their own base on Prison Island, but you must remember that Project Shadow and the Ark tragedy was something they wanted to cover up, so why would anybody but those given clearance know Shadow escaped or was even held there to begin with? In Sonic's first recap, he says he was detained for escaping from a military facility, so obviously the higher-ups lied about who it really was to keep their secret covered up, and the lower levels of Gun and the police honestly think Sonic was being detained there for some reason, and that he's an escapee who needs to be caught.
The driving stages are just torture. You just go forward with no obstacles or anything interesting.
Oh boy, this segment really gives me some Vietnam flashbacks about that one point in the original commentary that I made on this video. Oh boy, I guess I'll just leave the clip of it in the description, or if you want to check it out yourself, it's a really bad point, but yeah, he specifically mentions that there's no obstacles, but well, for one, there's the time limit, and there's also some bottomless pits that you can go in, but yeah, admittedly, I will say these things, though. Am I saying they're good? No. Do I think they're all that interesting? No. But I'm just saying, to say there's no obstacles, it's blatant. It's pretty... I guess it's not correct, at least to me, because, yeah, there are obstacles and there are areas where you can't fail the stage, like, for example, the time limit, but, yeah, if he doesn't like them, then not only is it his opinion and I respect it, but I actually kind of agree with them, too. I don't really like the Tails and, Rouge driving segments either, but, anyways, let's move on.
Okay, honestly, all you hear in these stages are...
I don't know about you, but there's also another thing I hear when it comes to these shooting stages. Really awesome music, in my opinion. Yeah, I know this doesn't really have much to do with the video, but I'm not gonna lie. In particular, the Tails mech stages. Oh boy, are the music tracks in all four of them really good, in my opinion. My favorite in particular is probably either Prison Lane or Eternal Engine. Eternal Engine actually is also surprisingly one of my favorite stages in the game, but yeah, I'd recommend looking these music tracks up because they are really kick-ass.
Did you also know that Sonic is a sellout? Well, he is. His own shoes are a product placement for soap. Good job.
Well, I mean, hey, Sonic's gotta get his chili dogs in some way.
It's so easy to fall off of a golem's back.
Ding, 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 ding. Here's another part where I feel like he is blaming his own mistakes on the game. At least to me it is, because yeah, he does particularly say it's so easy to fall off the Ed Golem's back, but the thing I would say is, again, try your best to keep steady, because yeah, it did kind of look like you were just running off and just freaking holding the analog stick in one way, and that's how you fell off. Also, I understand it can be annoying when you do fall off his back, but one thing I do admittedly like about Sonic's Ed Golem boss fight compared to Eggman's is when you fall in the quicksand, you don't just automatically die. You do have a chance to get back up and get back there, you know. But anyway, let's move on.
Oh, Sonic! I thought I'd never see you again.
Lord have mercy. I can't take the stupidity any longer.
Oh, wow. There are characters in the media that aren't smart. Wow, why isn't everyone a 300 IQ genius?
You know how for the shooting stages, you just have to shoot all the things and you're good to go? Well, without warning, you can't shoot these doors or you blast to the vacuum in space and die.
Without warning.
If the dynamite packs explode, the colony will be damaged. You will be sucked out into space. Remember, explosives are very bad.
Yeah, the thing here is, I know you said that, the way that I view it is, he already said that he hates Omnichal, so obviously he's not gonna try getting Omnichal so he could get hints, but yeah, he does actually, Omnichal actually does tell you that you can't shoot those things, otherwise you'll flow off into space and die, but considering that Nathaniel already has the mentality, or thought that he hates Omnichal so he won't try to listen to him, kind of really just comes off as willfully ignorant, in my opinion, but yeah, I don't really get why he's also just bringing up the bombs as a bad thing. That's how it comes off as, to me, at least. Because, yeah, I actually like that the bombs are there and you can't just mindlessly shoot everything, otherwise you'll die. Particularly because it really does, I guess, make it to where you have to change your playstyle and makes the stage more interesting. Sorry for the stuttering, but yeah, anyways, moving on. Also, yeah, I do feel like I should particularly mention that he said you just have to lock forward and win earlier, but yeah, I remember I got flat out pissed off right there, but anyways, let's move on.
There is no good reason for this stage to be the size of Jupiter.
Honestly, I'm actually happy that this stage is really big, because combined with how fast Knuckles moves, it actually makes traveling around the area pretty fun. But yeah, like I said, that is just my opinion.
Who am I fighting here? Knuckles or the camera?
Oh, I mean, to be fair, you're fighting both.
Anyone else feel like half this game is just watching things happen and not actually being in control?
More redundant points. But yet again, I'll just leave you with this Rubio Blue clip that also pretty accurately debunks this argument, in my opinion, too.
The automated sections in SA 1 and 2 are often very short transitional parts that keep the action flowing while giving you some spectacle, and giving you an aerial view of the area at the end of them. But they're blown way out of proportion and made out to seem like they make the games play themselves. Besides, oftentimes if you're skilled and creative enough, you can even find ways to skip them.
Sometimes when I'm trying to do a light dash, I'll start building speed for a spin dash because both moves are mapped to the same button when they shouldn't be.
Wow, another argument that I actually agree with, yeah. I feel like they should have mapped the other actions, like the light dash and the somersault, to different buttons. I think they probably should have, honestly, mapped the, what's a button that they don't actually use for the game? Probably maybe the L or R. Oh wait, the Knuckles actually has those. I don't know actually, but yeah, I do feel like they should at least try their best to map different actions to different buttons instead of just making them all on the same button.
This constantly changing gravity thing really doesn't work well.
Are you going to elaborate on that? Oh wait, you aren't? Well, oh, okay then.
When you get to the third lap, the timer seems to freeze at 99 seconds, but later on it'll start counting down. That means there was no effort in adding an extra digit. That is so sad.
Okay, I don't really have much to say here, but remember back earlier when he said there were no obstacles? Well, he literally just drove right next to one. So, yeah, I think this goes without saying, but you do come off as really willfully ignorant.
Now that I think about it, why is Tails in a mech suit anyway? Wouldn't it just be easier and more efficient to fly around in his plane instead?
I think there are definitely some areas where I don't think just flying around and shooting everything would be really that effective, because I don't think Deadman designed his bases to where you could just do that and you pretty much win. But yeah, I guess as a minor thing, yet again, I will be referencing this Rubio Blue clip.
Is it really? Tails since his debut has always made effective use of technology. He was always modifying, adding onto machines, and creating new ones, so his Cyclone, which functions as a plane, walker, and a car, only adds on to how badass of a character Tails is that he's always striving to use his genius to make incredible technology. Not to mention it enriches the dynamic between him and Eggman and the difference in how they use their genius and technology, for good and for evil.
Also, yay, looking at logic in a game, how fun.
you wouldn't believe how many times I'm just moving forward and an enemy drops down in front of me. That's real fair.
Yep, it's definitely the game's fault. Definitely not your fault in the slightest, because it's not like the game clearly gives you enough time to react to where you could just jump up and home and attack them. No, just blame the game, because then it just alleviates you from any responsibility for your fault at the game. Yeah, don't you just love blaming other things other than yourself?
In order to collect the final stage in the game, you have to collect all 180 emblems. That's right, you got 100% this game. And if you somehow manage to do that, what do you get for all of your hard work and effort? Frickin' Green Hill Zone, the one Sonic stage that's been recreated in every other Sonic game in existence. Hallelujah!
Wouldn't it matter more if the recreation was actually good or not, but anyway, that was my reworked or remade version of the Sonic Adventure 2 part of the commentary. I honestly can't tell if I find this one either better or worse than the other one. I think it's kind of hard, because he does say a lot of stuff that I disagree with more here than he does in the first one, but I don't know how to feel about it. Now, I have given my opinion on Sonic Adventure 2. It is probably one of my favorite Sonic games, but yeah, like I have said throughout this video, if he's not a fan of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, then that is his opinion, and I respect, even if I do disagree. I'm not gonna freaking vilify him for not liking the adventure games, because anyone's allowed to have their own likes and dislikes, and I'm not gonna, oh, you have trash taste in games shit, because, yeah, I really hate that mentality, but, yeah, Nathaniel, if the moons are somehow aligned all together, and if you are watching this, just know that I don't hate you as a person or as a content creator. I'm just trying to give you some, I guess, constructive criticism. But, anyway, guys, that was my, double feature commentary, and, see you guys in the next video. Probably will be the second half of the top 20 spawn episodes. I'm not 100% sure, though.